It is Friday, December 18th, almost the end of the year. This is the Legit Betting Edge podcast, episode number 21. I'm Brian Benito with my partner, Scott Johnson. Scott, Twitter's been blowing up. You're doing college hoops. How you doing this morning?
Good. Just answering a lot of DMs about this Eastern Washington game that I put out, and the line moving the opposite way. I put that game out at 11.5. It's moved to 9.5, down from 14. So we got a lot of nervous bettors out there. I'm not nervous at all. I love this game. We'll talk about it later in the podcast. But for those of you watching this, if you don't know us, I'm Scott. You can find me on Twitter at ScojoAZSports. That's where I put a majority of my content out. You can also go to my website, scojopicks.com. I've got articles that I put out there periodically. And also, I'm doing some videos right now for betterthan.vegas. If you go to betterthan.vegas, it's free to sign up for an account. You just put in Scojo Picks. It'll take you, and I've got plays there every day. I do a video and anywhere from 2 to 5 plays. So you can check that out too. But that's where you can get a hold of me. That's my social media.
If you're watching this on YouTube, which I hope you are, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Boom, hit it. That way you get alerts. And you know when we put another podcast or another video, some kind of tutorial, anything that we put on YouTube, you will get. Punch that like button too. Even if you don't like the video, hit the like button anyway. That helps us. Let's game the system together and help us move up. You can find me on Twitter at @my_bankroll. That's where most of my content goes. I'm not posting a lot right now, working on some stuff in the background, but we'll be posting more as the new year comes. And so, but we are here. We're talking college football first. We're going to do college football. We're going to do some NFL. We're going to do some college hoops. We're going to do it all. We're going to talk about everything. Let's get started, Scott.
All right. Well, ACC championship, we got Clemson and Notre Dame. This is Clemson favored by 10.5. The total sitting at 60. And this is just basically is Trevor Lawrence worth the 10.5 points? These teams played earlier. No Trevor Lawrence in that game. He was out with COVID, even though he was on the sideline with a mask on. But that game went into overtime. Notre Dame ended up winning. Notre Dame, with the coach that they currently have in these big games, have always seemed to falter. Can they stand up here? Can they stay inside this number? This Notre Dame team is good. I've liked what I've seen from them this year, but I honestly believe that Clemson has a switch. I think when they want to push it, they're going to push it, and I think they're going to blow Notre Dame out in this game. That's just my opinion. I haven't been paying attention. Honestly, I haven't been paying attention a lot to college football the last couple of weeks. So I just did some research on it today for the podcast. That's what I see. I just see Clemson, like I said, flipping that switch and running past Notre Dame here.
Interesting. And I haven't made a bet on this, and I don't know that I will. Marquee games like this, the lines are usually pretty tight. Maybe it lands on 10. Maybe it hits 11. Maybe it goes to 14. But you're saying essentially with 10.5, they lost by 3 in that game, did they not? Was it a 3-point loss? I'm not sure. I don't recall.
I don't remember. I know they lost in overtime. I don't know if it was a touchdown or a field goal. So
right. And so we're looking at is Trevor Lawrence worth 14 points essentially? If it's 3, if they lost by 3, is he worth 14? So I don't know that he is worth 14. Can Notre Dame toe the line? They got some confidence, and I know that Clemson's going to look to run it up. I don't know that this Clemson team, is as good as their national championship team. Not last year, but the year before. They were completely dominant, and they controlled everything. I don't know that they're that good. I expect Clemson to win this game. Yes. Would I make a play on Notre Dame? I probably wouldn't. I'd look to justify a play on Clemson tomorrow. But can I do that yet? No, I can't. So I'm kind of in the middle on this. I'll look to make a justification on Clemson. If I can't make a justification on Clemson, I'm definitely not going to bet Notre Dame, even if I see something, because you're right. The Trevor Lawrence and the revenge factor, the getting up for a revenge game is big here. And even if I see a 7-point win by Clemson, maybe they run it up to 21. You just don't know. And so that's why I would try to justify Clemson or nothing.
All right. Next game, we got Boise State. Actually, Boise State's favored by 6.5. They're not the dog. Boise State favored by 6.5. The total here is 55.5. And Boise State, their only loss this year is when they had their third-string quarterback in to BYU, and they got trounced in that game. And they've handled everybody else in the conference pretty easy. And San Jose State's been a good story this year. They've been playing well. But Again, I haven't done a lot in college football last, so this is just my opinion of what I looked at this morning. I don't see Boise State having a problem here. I don't think they're going to blow them out. I think the game will probably be close, but I think Boise State definitely gets. I like the 6.5. I could see them winning by a touchdown, maybe even 2 touchdowns here. I think Boise State wins this game. San Jose State, great story, been playing well, but I really like Boise State in this game.
Yeah, San Jose State's been playing real well all year long. Have they dropped a game?
Honestly, I don't know. that's a horrible handicap.
Yeah,
like I said, I haven't been paying attention to it, but
yeah,
I know that they've had a good season. So
they've had a great season, probably the best season they've had in a decade or more. I honestly not much talk about it because COVID and everything, but they'd be getting some pub in a normal season where there wasn't a bunch of distractions, and they're playing well. Now they're getting 6.5, and I don't know that they can stay inside the number, but this is an interesting game. I won't bet this game. But I'd love to see them do it. Boise, Boise's good, and they're on the blue turf. But San Jose State's had a great season, and I don't have anything much more than that. I wish I would have looked at this a little deeper. I didn't. I've been concentrating on some NFL and some college hoops a lot. But I would try to justify plus 6.5 for San Jose State, and that's the way I would go. I would not. I don't think I'd bet Boise in this game, even though they're on the blue turf. This 6.5 seems like it's begging for Boise money, and San Jose State may be up to the task. And they took out San Diego State in San Diego. So could they do the same in Boise? I think they got the potential to do that. I would look back and justify San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State is 6-0. I just looked it up really quick. Yeah, so they're 6-0. They haven't lost yet. And like I said, Boise State's only loss this year is when they had their third-string quarterback against BYU, and they did get trounced in that game. They are on the blue turf. And like I said, San Jose, nice season. I just like Boise here. I think they I like them by at least a touchdown, if not more. So if I'm definitely not, I'm not going to make a play in this game, but if I'm picking, I'm taking Boise State and laying a touchdown. All right, so let's move on.
Fair enough.
We're going to go Alabama. Again, I've got the plus and minus thing wrong here. Alabama favored by 17.5, and they're playing Florida here. And Bama, I know the over is kind of enticing here. Bama, the last really good offense I think they played was Ole Miss, and Ole Miss put up a ton of points against them. But I don't know that Bama's defense is going to be that generous this time around. So I might look at the under there. I kind of see like a 42-17, 38-17, 38-20 game here. I don't really, that 17.5 kind of scares me for Bama. But if I was doing anything on this game, I would definitely be looking at the total, and I would definitely be looking at the under. I do think Bama's defense is going to step up here. I know that they had a horrible game against Ole Miss, but I don't think this is going to be the same defense. I think they're going to be ready. I think they're the best team in the country. I think they're going to win the national championship, and I think they're going to trounce Florida here. Florida must have been looking ahead because they just struggled against LSU. I don't know if they were looking ahead to this game or not, but whatever it is, they just gave it up against LSU. And, this Bama team's going to come in, and I think just, this game's not even going to be close.
Florida was watching A&M destroy LSU, and they were watching these other teams beat LSU down. They watched Bama toss down LSU like they were a rag doll, and they figured they'd go in and do the same without much preparation. That was the problem in that game. So LSU snuck up on them, beat them. Do they bounce back in this game and cover? I don't know. I don't know that you can. I mean, Bama's brimming with confidence unless Bama just expects to step on the field and destroy Florida without preparation. I don't think Florida's going to hang with them. So 17.5, I would look to back Alabama in this game. I haven't made a bet, and I haven't been lucky on double-digit spreads in college football this year at all. Now, college basketball is a different story. Florida, look, this total, this 74.5, I've never seen a number like that on our podcast. Have you? That total?
No, not in two, two teams like this in the SEC. I mean, SEC has had some high-scoring games, but yeah. So
it's silly. I think it's going under. I think that game. I think that's all. I'm just looking at it. It just seems if you bet the over in this game, I couldn't do it. I couldn't bet over 74.5. Maybe it gets there with overtimes or whatever. If Florida plays them tough, but I expect Bama to cover the spread. I expect this game to go under.
All right, let's move on to some NFL. First, hey, I got it right. Look at that. Buffalo at Denver. Buffalo favored by 5.5. Over under 49.5. And normally in a spot like this with Buffalo, I mean, coming off a big win against Pittsburgh and now coming all the way out west to play Denver, I would normally look to fade Buffalo in a spot like this. But Denver is just beat up on the defensive side. I mean, they got 4 corners out. It's getting late towards the season. I don't know how much more they really have to play for. And this Buffalo team is just rolling right now. So if I look to do anything in this game, I'll definitely look at the Buffalo side. I like Buffalo to win this game. I think Josh Allen has another good game. That Denver defense is stout, but with the back end beat up like it is, I just think Josh Allen with Diggs and Brown and all those, all his receivers and all his weapons, it's going to be too much here. And I like Buffalo to cover the number.
I'm on the other side of this, and I'm going to tell you why. A couple of things. First of all, everything in Buffalo revolves around Josh Allen. So if Josh Allen gets time and he gets a roll out to his right, yeah, he's going to beat a defense, especially a defense like Denver who's down corners. But Denver's front 7 can get after a quarterback. And I think Josh Allen can be bottled up, especially with Fangio. I think he can scheme it up with his defense. I think he can limit Buffalo. I also think this. I think Buffalo, during the first half against the Steelers, they had a tough time last week against the Steelers. And they were bottled up in the first half. Now, obviously, the Steelers weren't as stout in the second half, and Josh Allen was able to roll out, and he started getting plays out. And the Steelers' defense, the injuries they had in their linebacking core, just couldn't get to Josh Allen anymore. But everything starts and finishes with Josh. So if you get to Josh, get him off his mark, I think he's going to have a tough time. And I think Denver's going to be able to do that this week. And here's on the other side of this. I think Denver, last couple of weeks, they've been playing pretty well. Ever since that 3-quarterback no-show debacle, they've been playing better and better. And they're going home after playing a game they controlled. They didn't extend themselves the way the Buffalo Bills had to in the second half last week. I look for Denver to come out, stay inside this number, and possibly get the upset. I think I'm going to sprinkle some money on here, plus 200, plus 220, whatever I can get. But I think the Buffalo Bills not only don't cover, I think they lose this game. I definitely like Denver plus the 6 is what it was. It's dropping. Maybe some sharp money came in on Denver. I think this is a great spot for Denver, and I think the Bills are in trouble this week.
All right. Next game, we got Cleveland at the New York Giants. Cleveland favored by 6.5. Total is 44. And the Giants, I watched this Giants team play all year, and it's amazing to me that they can go on the road, they can cover every spread, and they come home and they can't cover a spread at all. It's mind-blowing to me to watch this team play. And I don't know the health of Daniel Jones. I mean, I've heard he might play. He's not going to play. Jason Garrett's out with COVID, so the OC is not going to be there. And like I said, I just can't back the Giants at home. Cleveland coming off a tough game, short week against that crazy fourth quarter. I went back and watched that. That was just nuts. It was a great game. Probably the best football game I've watched all year between Baltimore and Cleveland. That was a fun game to watch. You were just talking about exerting energy and all that stuff. So that could be a problem here. But I think even though Colt McCoy went, they went to Seattle and won that game, but they went to Seattle. They didn't win that game at home. The New York Giants, for some reason, are just a different team at home. They can't cover spreads at home. I can't back the Giants. I would love to back them in this spot because I think it's a great spot to back them. But at home, I'm not going to back them. I stay on the side of the Browns. I think the Browns recover. I think they rebound here, and I would lay the points with Cleveland.
Yeah, I think here's what it is. The Browns, they lost that game, but man, they did whatever the hell they wanted. They just ran out of time. So that was a great game. I think Cleveland is uber confident right now. I think they'll be out of energy a little bit. I think this total goes under because I don't think the Giants are going to score many points. I think the Browns are pissed, and I don't think Daniel Jones can do what Lamar Jackson did, which was run and just do loops on that defensive front. Just ridiculous what Lamar Jackson did. He came in out of the locker room when Sorley went down. It was insane. It was just a great game, just amazing to watch. So, but I think Cleveland goes into New York. I think they handle them here. I think they win by 7 or more, whatever it is. I think they're going to cover that spread. And I would look to the under, although that's unpredictable. But I do trust Cleveland on the road. The only road game they get, they beat Jacksonville, but they got jobbed by the referees late in that game. I don't think it happens again. I think the Giants had a nice little run 4 in a row. They lost last week. I don't think they're going to have a shot this week. They're just playing. You don't recover from a 3 or 4 turnover game and turn around and as a New York Giants team that's sub 500 and turn it around the very next week. You're just not that good. I think things will still be discombobulated. I look for the Browns to cover the 6.5.
All right. Next game is going to be Kansas City at New Orleans, probably the best game of the day. Kansas City currently favored by 3, the over-under 52. I've heard Drew Brees might be back. To me, it doesn't matter whether it's Drew Brees, if it's Taysom Hill, if it's Jameis Winston. I'm on the Chiefs in this game. I like the Saints got exposed by the Eagles last week and Jalen Hurts, and now they're gonna see an offense times 20 this week. Even though they do come home, I know they play better in the dome. They're a better home team, especially if Drew Brees is at quarterback. But and their defense does play a little bit better. But Kansas City, to me, I don't know if they're playing bored, if they're playing lazy. I've been watching them the last few weeks, and I actually really don't like the way they're playing. But I think this might be a Super Bowl, preview. So there might be some motivation here for them to get it together and put one of those Kansas City performances on New Orleans. So I would take Kansas City minus the 3 in this game. I don't care who the quarterback is for the Saints. I think the Saints defense is going to have a hard time slowing down this Kansas City offense.
See, now I'm on the other side of you on this one too, because here's my thought. The Saints played crappy last week. Well, they had just won the number 1 seeding, or they had won the division, and which essentially means well, they're not the number 1 seed anymore because they lost to the Eagles. But they had clinched the division. There was a letdown. They had won 10 in a row. I mean, what else can you do? So maybe they got off their mark a little bit, got a little bored, got a little. They figured, the Eagles can't do anything. But the Eagles have a stout defense. This Eagles defense that the Saints played last week is a good defense, and they were still playing hard. Here's what I think, though. I think New Orleans' defense is just as stout as the Eagles. I think New Orleans got talent. I think they can rush the quarterback. And I think New Orleans has a better defense than Miami. Kansas City was in Miami last week. They're on the road for a second back-to-back game. They played sloppy in Miami. I don't think they're going to clean that stuff up. Not only that, but let's put it this way. They're up by 18, Kansas City, in Miami to a rookie quarterback. They let him come all the way and cover inside the number. Okay, that's lame. That's lame, and that's undisciplined. And against a team like New Orleans, you're not going to get back on track because this team now is angry. And this is a Super Bowl preview, I think. I think New Orleans wins this game. I think Kansas City gets their second L for the season. And I think all of their turnovers and Mahomes' little improvisations and all that comes back to bite them this week. I think they get beat pretty good, pretty sound. This is not a Raiders game where they lose late. This is a game where they get top to bottom beat. I think New Orleans controls this game, handles them, and I think the Chiefs go and they're like, oh, shit, we just got our ass handed to us. That's what I think happens in this game.
Everybody college football and NFL. I have not been watching the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I did a study before the podcast. I looked at a lot of stuff. I'm just giving you my best picks on the information and stuff. I haven't seen really any games at all. Everything I'm doing has been in college basketball. And speaking of college basketball, let's get into some Friday games that are going on today. First game is Richmond -2 at Loyola Chicago. This game's actually on a neutral court. And this is 2 really good veteran mid-major teams here. Loyola Chicago, they don't have a ton of talent, but, man, they play very disciplined basketball on the offensive side and on the defensive side of the ball. And Richmond is the same thing, a veteran team, and they play very good defense and very good offense. So I think this is going to be a really close game for about 30, 35 minutes. And I think the difference in this game is going to be Richmond and their veteran guard play. I think that's going to catapult them late. I think they'll push past this. It opened at -3. I actually placed my bet at -3. It has come down to -2. Loyola's getting a lot of love, and I can totally understand that. And like I said, I think this game's going to be close throughout. I think it comes down to the last 5 minutes, and that's where I really like Richmond, and I like their guard play to push and cover this number -2, -3. I think they win this game by 4 to 6 points.
Yeah, I handicapped this game last night after we texted each other, said we're going to do this game on the podcast. I had Richmond winning by 6. So I didn't look at any line movement this morning on this game. I was looking at some other stuff, but I tend to side with you here. I think Richmond will win this game. I think it stays in single digits, but I do think they win by more than 2. I had Richmond covering comfortably the 3. So I think Richmond gets the cover, and I'm on the same side as you in this game.
All right.
I had actually a 69-63 preliminary score, and I don't know if that's accurate. I just did it real quick.
Yeah. Oh no, very accurate. I could see this game. Both teams in the 60s here. That's very possible. Both really good defensive teams.
Okay.
Like I said, two of the best mid majors out there, veteran teams. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. So the next game is going to be BYU at San Diego State. BYU is actually the dog. I cannot get the minus and the positive button correct. BYU is actually the dog. They're getting 6.5, and the over/under is 136. BYU, San Diego State is legit. I mean, they're top 10 team in the country in my eyes. They did lose a couple key players from last year's team. That was a really good team, but this team just continues to grind and play really well. I watched them play every game. They've got a great inside game. They've got two really good guards. They can put points up on you. They can lock you down. But this BYU team, their kryptonite is long athletic guards. And San Diego State has two really good guards on the defensive side, but nothing that's really freakishly long and athletic. So I think BYU is going to get several shots up. They love to shoot the three. They'll probably put up 20 to 25 threes if they can hit their shots. I don't see them winning the game. I actually think San Diego State is going to cover the spread, but my play is going to be on the total. I think this game gets to the 70s. I can see, like a 79-71, 79-69 game between these two. So I'm going to play the over 136 in this game.
Okay. I looked at this last night and I thought that, I thought it was going to be a 6-point spread. That's what I thought. I had it come down to a 6-point game. It was at 7 when I looked at it. The line was at 7, BYU plus 7. And maybe 7.5, whatever it was. I saw San Diego State scoring in the 70s, BYU getting in the 60s, high 60s. But I did see a 6-point game. And when I see something right on the line, or when I preliminary look right on the line, that's not a game I'm going to bet. But I did see San Diego State winning the game. San Diego State, as a matter of fact, is going to win the game. I know that for a fact. So if you wanted to connect something, if you were a money line player or if you were a teaser, whatever, and you want to connect this with something else, I see San Diego State definitely winning this game. But I just don't know about the spread.
Okay. Next game, we're going to go to Iowa State getting 14.5 at West Virginia. Total sitting at 144. This West Virginia team, to me, is one of the top 6 teams in the country. I love Huggins. He's a great coach. Press Virginia. They get in your face. You're going to battle them for 40 minutes. The only thing I worry about with West Virginia is they have come out in a few of their games really lazy at the beginning of games, let teams hang around, play around, and then they just played Richmond. They were up for that game. They dominated that game from beginning to end, made Richmond look really bad. And Richmond isn't a bad team. Richmond's a really, really good team, and they made them look silly. And this Iowa State team is not good. They just lost to Kansas State. Kansas State's terrible in the Big 12. They got blown out by Iowa but a lot of people are getting blown out by Iowa. Iowa's a fun team to watch. So I think West Virginia is going to cover this number at 14.5. I think, like I said, what I worry about with West Virginia is how they come out in games where, they think that they're going to win. They've shown in a couple of the games they've come out really slow, and that's usually not typical of a Bob Huggins team. So I think he's going to have them ready. I think they're going to get going from the jump here. I think Iowa State struggles. I think West Virginia all day long in this game.
Yeah, it's Friday night. I think West Virginia will be ready. I have them winning by 20 plus. I think they handle them pretty good. I think what they did last game, just comes over in this game, and I think the same thing happens. Iowa State obviously had a tough time against Iowa, and they're going to have a tough time tonight. Probably get frustrated late, shut it down, while West Virginia ramps it up late in the second half. And I think the 20 points, I think it'll get to 20. That's what I had the number at anyway. So I agree with you.
All right. We got the last game of the night is going to be Eastern Washington at Northern Arizona. The line currently, I typed this up probably about a couple hours ago, and I've seen some lines at 9.5 for Eastern Washington. And I put a video out last night, so I'm sure everybody's seen it. This is my play of the day for Friday, this Eastern Washington team going to Northern Arizona. The reason I like this game, it's two things. One, we've been seeing a trend in a lot of these smaller conferences. We're going to have a lot of back-to-back games. They're going to go on the road. They're going to the Sky Dome in Flagstaff, and they're going to play 2 games back-to-back. And the trend that I've been noticing is in that first game, the favorite usually covers the game and covers the game pretty easy. In the second game, the dog covers and a lot of time is winning outright in these back-to-back games. It happened yesterday twice with Wagner and Sacred Heart. We've got a couple games again like it today, North Dakota and SIU. SIU dominated that game against North Dakota. They're flipping around. They're playing again today. I'm on North Dakota today, and it's basically a trend play. I'm not a big trend guy, but I've been noticing this trend in these games. So this is the first game of a back-to-back, so that's the first thing I really like. The second thing is this NAU team just isn't any good. I mean, that's just as brutally honest as I can be. Burkar is their head coach. He got handed this team, and there's not a lot of talent. Their head coach bolted for U of A. So Burkar, he was the interim coach last year. He got the head coaching job this year. He's actually a really good coach. I think he's going to get some players in there, and I think NAU will be good in years to come. But right now, there's maybe one or two D1 players on this team that are legit. Everything else is not good. You know, they're a Division II team or an NAI, A team. Does that mean that, they can't cover or win this game? No, I mean, anything can happen. But Eastern Washington, they've been battle tested. They just played a tough game against St. Mary's, lost by 5. U of A, they lost by 3. Washington State, they lost by 3. Oregon did hand them a pretty good defeat, but Oregon's, a really good team, really long. They guard the three-point line really well, so Eastern Washington struggled shooting in that game. They're not going to run into that with this Northern Arizona team. They have no height. They have no shooters. They can't play defense. They can't rebound. I mean, it's anything that you can think of a negative for NAU, that they've got it. So I don't know why the line's coming down. Me and you talked before the podcast. They did play a hard-fought game against St. Mary's the other night. This is the first conference game. It's a road team at a home team, plus 14. Maybe people saw that number and just thought that was too many for a conference game. But Eastern Washington is the favorite in the Big Sky. I think they win the Big Sky this year. This is a really good team. Their record is 1-4, but they're a lot better than what their record's showing. I think they're gonna roll through this Big Sky. I think this is going to be your Big Sky champion. I look for them to be in the tournament in March if we make it that far. So my play of the day, my 5-unit play that I put out on Twitter is Eastern Washington, sitting now at -9.5.
Yeah, we will make it to the tournament, by the way. So I'll just give you a devil's advocate. Yeah, I'll just give you a devil's advocate opinion on this. I'm not going to bet this game. We're on this because it is your 5-star play. The only thing I can see the other side, because I'm just going to give an opposing shot here, is Eastern Washington. Yeah, they were playing St. Mary's, and they played them tough. And St. Mary's is a team where you go and you give everything you got, kind of like Gonzaga. You want to knock them off. If you feel like you can knock somebody off, you bring all your guns and you fire. And so when that happens and you come up a little short, like they did, they stayed inside the number, played them tight, you might have a lull, especially at the beginning of the next game. Now, if you get behind and you give Northern Arizona some confidence early, maybe they start hitting their shots. You let a team hang around. Maybe they stay inside the number. I don't think Northern Arizona is going to win this game, but the case for someone taking the points, that would be it. The fact that Eastern Washington gave everything they had against St. Mary's, and they're going to come up a little tired, and they're on the road. They're in Northern Arizona. They're in the altitude, right? And so in Flagstaff. So that'd be the only cut I'd put on it. Again, I'm not betting the game though. I'm just giving something for the viewers to watch and to think about when it comes to trends and edges and what to look for and how a team might hang in there. It's the same thing if a losing team came in, let's say like last week, the Miami Dolphins against the Chiefs. Chiefs give them an early turnover. They get 7 points on that. They suddenly think they can hang around with the world champions, and then they hang in the whole game and they play tough. So I could see this going in and outside the number throughout the game. And will Eastern Washington put them away late? That all depends on what happens at the beginning, I think. So that's my thought. And but again, I won't be betting this game, and I wish you good luck on this game because I know yourself and a lot of your followers will be on this game.
Yeah, and no, you brought up a good point about a slow start, and I'm going to be shooting a video here in just a second to put on Twitter about the line movement because I'm getting a ton of DMs and a lot of people asking me about first half plays, and what you just said is why I'm not playing the first half. They are coming off that game against St. Mary's where they led the whole game. They pretty much dominated that whole game and gave it up in the last 2 or 3 minutes and ended up losing that game by 5. So, there might be a little bit of a letdown. They might be tired. This is a high altitude game. So there could be a slow start here. It wouldn't even surprise me if NAU is within, 2 or 3 points at half. or even tied, or maybe even leading by a few. But NAU is not going to push this game. I don't think we're going to get a score where all of a sudden NAU's leading by 10 at halftime or something like that. So I don't like the first half play. A lot of people have asked me about that. I don't like the first half play at all. I like Eastern Washington full game. I've got it at 11.5. I loved it at 11.5. I'm sticking with my number. If you can get it at 9.5 and you want to ride with me, that's that's 2 more points. So jump on it.
Perfect. All right. Well, then that's it for the podcast. Let's give our social media one more time and let's head out here, Scott.
All right. You guys can find me on Twitter at ScojoAZ Sports. That's where I put a majority of my content out. You can also go to my website, scojopicks.com. I have just recently started with betterthan.vegas. I'm doing some videos and some plays for them. So you can go to betterthan.vegas, put in Scojo Picks, go to my page, subscribe. Anytime I put a video up with a play, you'll get alerted and you can see that. So I'm trying to put anywhere from 2 to 5 plays on there a day. I'll continue to put stuff on Twitter. I'll continue to be doing my second half of my live betting. You can always go to the Action app, myaction.app/Scojo. You can get a lot of my plays there. I'm putting it out there. So that's where all my content is. I love all the interaction I'm having with people, and let's keep it going. Let's keep rolling through college basketball.
Hit the subscribe button on this channel on YouTube if you're watching it there, which I hope you are. Follow me on Twitter at @my_bankroll. That is the end of episode number 21. Good night.